Hola, how are we doing? This is a bit weird. Right, I need to start with a thank you, first of all, to the team for letting me on the stage. I was only confirmed on Friday, which meant I had a little panic on Monday. What am I going to talk about? I was given a title, and I had the chance, the deal was with my boss that I was allowed to go hiking before I came to the event. So I went to the mountain in Madeira, had a little thought, and speaking with a lot of you in the last few days and people on the stage, I noted a few things that got me thinking. And while I'm not a 3D guru, I'm not a metaverse expert, what I do know about is retail. And I've been in retail for the best part of 10 to 15 years in 3D. And so I thought, all right, well, let's bring some stories about that and see if that resonates with any of you, or maybe spark some thinking, and kind of lead with that, and then we'll spin back round to that long title which I inherited, and I'll give you the 5 things that are on my mind. My quick story, but it connects to what I want to tell you about the retailers, the great retailers that I've worked with. I started at P&G, so that's where my retail brain and consumer goods kind of training came from, but I wanted to quickly get into technology, so I skipped over to a company called Dassault Systems. They're the largest, one of the largest 3D design software companies, and they were launching some new products in the market, and we managed to get a few new brands for the first time. So we got Heineken and VRARA, which is not bad, good brands, and they were using the software for retail layouts. But then I got another itch, and I wanted to make another move, and I got all excited about startups, like a lot of us. And I joined a startup called Imagine, and I would love it if someone put their hand up and said that they've heard of or they know Imagine. That's a big no. They're only around for a year, but I fell in love with them because I saw my first AR demo, and this was before AR Kit, and they had the first markerless AR where it, in my eyes, wow, it's sticking to the floor. So I joined them. I was the first person internationally to try and get the brand out there. And every time I did a demo with retailers, the first demo, they were all like, wow, he's like a magician. This is amazing. But then the problem came is like this bleeding edge technology, as we used to call it. How do we get a use case? How do we make this work? How do we get some clients? How do we get some money? And the challenges were, well, okay, so how do we get the content? How much is the content? And they're like, wow, expensive. Can we reuse the content? Maybe in the future. Why is the phone getting hot? Why is the phone dead, the battery dead? So there were all these challenges, but we managed to get through a lot of them. And with some great champions and people that kind of believed in this technology, the best part of 8 years ago now, closer to 6. And then, John Lewis, Coca-Cola went first. We got some nice hype on the BBC. And but then before we knew it, Snapchat bought our technology. And that's what the dancing hot dog and the filters that you've seen in Snapchat, that's the technology that existed in there. I then continued my story in AR with Augment. Again, anyone heard of Augment? Oh, yes, there we are, more hands. And they're still going. And I taught Coca-Cola there, and we did a real deployment, like not a 2-week, 1-month pilot. It was rolled out 27 countries, thousands of users, salespeople. So they go around retail outlets and try and sell in Coca-Cola fridges. Really, really proud of that one, and it's still going today, and Augment is still doing that. But for me, my time ended at Augment, and I've told you this story because I'm going to tell you where I am now. They had some financial troubles, like a lot of startups at that particular time. They're good now. I met 3D Cloud by Marxent, and I met Beck and Barry, and the big difference that they said, Leigh, don't go and get that safe corporate job now that you're thinking about that. Come and join us, because we've got a difference. We've got one platform, and they come from a content management system background. And yes, you may want to do an augmented reality project, or a VR project, or a product configurator, or whatever experience you're thinking about. But what's going to be key is the platform. How are you going to make sure it's fast, it looks beautiful, every device, reuse, and how are you going to learn from it? And it's as technical as I get, and this is the slide that we show to retailers now. And this one actually gets their eyes, although it's not pretty, because if they're looking at this and they're thinking about this, they're serious. It's not a one-off project. It's not marketing gimmick. So we do all these different experiences all on the same platform, and the key thing is, can I reuse the content? And we do have a lot of the creme de la creme of retailers. I think you'll all recognize someone up there. So we're working with these retailers, and the thing that I always say is that they're not small projects. These are multi-year 3D strategy projects. So what I wanted to give a message today in this talk about, how do we engage use cases like retailers? They're already in the 3D game, and they're thinking about it, they're investing into it, and yeah, they're thinking about what they can use 3D for now and in the future. And the lovely thing about B&Q is it's just not just one app, and it's not for people in the store, it's for everyone. So consumers are using these applications from fireplaces, bathroom planner, kitchen planner, storage. And the really interesting thing that we've found, and some retailers are believing in it, and some aren't, but that consumers really want to get their hands on these solutions and play themselves. So we've got stats that prove that if people start engaging with these tools through 3D earlier, they end up committing to the brand and actually buying the entire kitchen, sometimes online. And pets, there's been a lot of talk about avatars and stuff. We get a big no-no, don't put avatars in any of our planning software from retailers, but for some reason, pets, dogs, cats, it works. So there's something there. Macy's, don't have time, I've only got 15 minutes today. I will share my slides, and if you just Google Macy's and Marxent, you'll see probably the best video that we're never going to beat, and that's from Jeff, the CEO of Macy's, talking about how they scaled with 400 stores and online 3D, from AR to VR to iPad experiences for sales associates. And when you get a little quote like that with meaningful ROI to put on a slide, I don't think you're going to beat that in terms of reducing, well, he actually says it eliminates returns and basket size up by 45%. Yeah, I'll let you check that out yourselves. Back to DIY now in the US. If you didn't know B&Q, they were the largest DIY in the UK. Lowe's is one of the big ones in the United States. Anyone remember Hollow Rooms or heard of Hollow Rooms? Yes, I got one. So it's, well, I don't know if it was but I'm told by my bosses it was the first VR experience in a retail environment, or at least one of them. And yeah, that was powered by Marxent, and that's where our journey started. Almost, that was back in 2014, I believe. But now we do decking, kitchen, and a really nice one that you saw in that B&Q video is on the left. You can actually design from images from Pinterest. That's a real nice one that we're working on with Lowe's, where trying to bridge the gap between inspiration and transaction. So a lot of people don't understand kitchens, so when you ask them to design a kitchen, they get lost in the categories, but they can tell you, I want that kitchen in my space. So you can actually click on products from the images into the environment. you saw just at the start of that is we have a massive friction point in being able to design rooms, is that no one knows how to measure the room properly, or they're not comfortable doing it, or they can't be bothered to do it. So we've got a new room scanning app that's going to go live with a retailer this year, a bit of help from Apple, of course. But yeah, that's a massive friction point so that you can get your dimensions in and you can just start designing your room. John Lewis, I'll go quick. Yeah, all of their designers are using it. You can go in. We were laughing at dinner yesterday, and someone said, "Oh, you do 3D curtains," and they chuckled. But no, it's legit. If you're going to spend £1,000 on a pair of curtains, and that's how much they can be, you probably want to know what it's going to look like against the color of your wall or the flooring, or how it's going to look if you open or close, or the size of your window. Before, you'd get a little swatch and a big list, and then you're expected to decide if you want and you're comfortable spending £1,000. So this has been phenomenal. I can't share the stats publicly, but I can give you a steer. In terms of conversion, it's just, yeah, it's mind-boggling. But I guess it makes sense when you think about it. Then the last video, which is a bit more techy and geeky, but I think the fact that you've got a brand manufacturer in retail talking about the back end of 3D and scalability, you know you've done something right. And these guys, Miller Knoll, if you don't know, they rebranded. I knew the brand Herman Miller, of course, but they're the second largest office furniture manufacturer. And it's a few minutes, but I think it's worth watching, and then we'll conclude.
Technology requires good design to be good technology.
Miller Knoll is a collective of dynamic brands that really comes together to design the world that we live in.
As we think about innovation, we really think about trying to solve the problems of our customers.
There's a lot of value in being able to specify and visualize exactly what you're going to receive in your order.
3D configuration is a part of our kind of overall digital experience portfolio. It's really important to us at Miller Knoll to have visualization be at the front of how we present our products.
Customers are really after more information. They're after more detail about products, and they're after visual representations of the products.
Our initial focus was, of course, on getting the materials, the visuals, and the user interface right, which is all super important because that's what people see.
Contract buyers absolutely depend on us to deliver exactly what they order and to get that right the first time. 3D product configuration really gives us the ability to provide an accurate visual reference for every possible variation.
When you originally go into 3D visualization, you think that it's all about the front end. So it's about that 360-degree spinner, and it's about the beautiful user interface. But in reality, it's really the back end that makes things scalable, manageable, and maintainable.
Having a really robust 3D model strategy, and then taking those models into a user-friendly, best-in-class configurator is really important for us as a company. I think it's table stakes for our industry right now.
We needed a data-driven solution that allows us to make specialized versions of configurators to quickly spin up these alternate versions for different sales channels or local markets, and then to reuse materials across all of those subsets, all without being dependent on a fixed release schedule. This new system enables a single person to update and publish fearlessly without the need of an external developer or a scheduled release. Miller Knoll is a collective, so whatever tool we ended up utilizing needed to be data agnostic so that it could function with any brand's product data. And Marxent's 3D Cloud really enables us to continue to grow across all of those product lines and into any brand that needs that ability.
Dramatic music, right? It's nice. Right, to conclude. So I did change the title. I put now. It's not just about the future. I think retailers are really in it to win it from 3D. The pandemic, all of us were forced to think about our home and our spaces and how we could reuse them. So that was really good for retail. A lot of people invested into their homes for good reasons, and it meant that retailers had to accelerate because no shops were open. So for 3D, it was great. Consumers, they want to drive, so they don't want to go and sit in a store and watch someone else design for them. They're itching to get involved, and it's not just, there's a lot of talk about gamers with the metaverse and stuff, but there are, every demographic you can think of is using 3D in retail now and gaining benefit from it. So the more that happens, the more they're going to get used to it. You saw the returns. I don't have to repeat that, but if I can sell an entire room versus a sofa, it's a no-brainer, which is why these retail customers and clients and partners of ours are invested in 3D strategies. And there's a lot more to come. I get it a lot. I don't really have the answers. Part of the reason I'm here is like, Leigh, what's next? What can we do now? What have you got around the corner? They're really, really intrigued and really wanting to learn more. So I think retail's a good place if you're thinking about trying some new tech, hardware, software, and yeah, I'd love to chat some more on that. But yeah, thank you for your time today, and hopefully chat with some more of you later on.